I've filmed in a lot of really challenging environments over the years. I've filmed on top of mountains at 14,000 feet. I've filmed in rivers, and I think this might take the cake for the toughest place I've ever had to do a video, because I'm in downtown LA, 3 feet from certain death from these cars whizzing by, but I had to brave the elements to bring you guys a discussion about the hottest company, I think, in the truck industry, and I'm talking about Slate. So, if you're not familiar, Slate is trying to bring a return back to simple, basic, elegant trucks, right? I think that all of you guys out there that have spent hours and hours and hours, thousands of comments at this point, discussing how truck prices have gotten out of hand, major corporations, engineers, designers, executives, they've taken note, right? And the product of that is the Slate. Now in this video, we're gonna go over the Slate. It's been a while since Slate first showed us the initial prototypes, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to poke around it a little bit and see how they've evolved, because this is a running and driving prototype now. Slate is a real company backed by real money, some Amazon money in there, so I really do think it's gonna happen. And this is my first time ever seeing one, albeit in downtown LA, getting drenched on. So if I look absolutely ridiculous, I do apologize sincerely, but let's take a look at it. Now, the first thing you're gonna notice about this little truck is the color. Actually, the first thing you're gonna notice about this little truck is the total lack of color, because this Slate is designed to be wrapped by the end user. So in its most basic configuration like this, it comes in sort of this unfinished gray color. Now, the next thing you're going to notice about this truck, which is something a lot of people have been asking for, is the fact that it's a single cab pickup. So, back in the day, and I'm talking 19 teens through most of the 90s, a truck was a basic two-door utility device, right? With a simple tailgate, a small interior, and not a lot going on. But the automakers realized that instead of having the truck for work and the family sedan for going to church on Sundays, you could combine the two into a crew cab unit. And what we ended up with was the huge popularity of everything we've seen on the market. And that ranges from the Maverick on the small end to the 450s and the 3500s on the big end, right? But Slate's trying to bring back the return to simple styling, two-door, useful products. Now here's the thing. I'm really on the fence about this decision, because I do agree that trucks have gotten too big. They've gotten too bloated. But at the same time, I kind of feel like the truck, regardless of the size, has become a household transportation device for families all around the country, and they've become good at it, is the thing, right? A Maverick is a car that a growing family could use on a daily basis and be perfectly happy forever, right? It's comfortable, it's gets great fuel economy, 38 mpg, it's sort of useful with the 4.5 foot bed. And the reality is, the manufacturers still, to one extent or another, sell single cab trucks, and they're a really small percentage of their total sales. So I appreciate, as a truck guy, I appreciate the concept of doing something like this, right? Very basic single cab design, but are people going to buy it? Well, let's kind of dive into some of the design elements I'm noticing here. So the tailgate pops open, it's not damped. It does have some useful features here, like we've got the little indents for the cup holders. Now, there's a big party going on, so all the experts I would usually talk to are partying, so I'm going to have to go off the seat of my pants here a little bit. But let's take a look at this bed. It's a modular bed system. You can see the bed bottom's actually assembled with these panels. So we've got these hex bolts that, you know, attach the side of the panel, the floor, you can see it there. Kind of an interesting idea. Instead of doing like a one-piece steel bed or a composite bed like we've seen on Toyotas, the tailgate's unbelievably heavy. I do like this little plastic guy here. I think that could be kind of useful for folks driving around with the tailgate down, you know, you can bump into things. That's all good. Now coming along to the back here, looks pretty wide. I should have brought a tape measure to this. We do have these integrated bed rails here, so potentially you could incorporate some kind of cover. And then I do like the little cutouts there for your 2x4s, so you could create platforms here for some additional transportation. Look at this too, hinges on the rear window, and actually more bolts here throughout the back of the cab. Now the idea with this is the Slate is designed to be a modular architecture, and what that means is from their initial press briefing, you could buy a Slate truck and then essentially purchase a cab and create a little Slate SUV. Kind of like, well, there's one other car that's done this. Can you name it? It's the Nissan Pulsar. Do you remember that back in the 80s? You could have it as a coupe, you could have it as like a little hatchback wagon thing, you could have it as a T-top open convertible thing. Slate's trying to bring that back. I love that idea, but I worry it's a little bit like the old smart cars, where people say they want interchangeable body panels and you can change the color at your own whim. Are you really going to do it though? This is the thing I'm worried about with Slate. I love the concept, but I also look at the data. I have to separate that in my head, and I know that what people say they want and what they actually buy are two different things. I'll give you an example. We went out and bought our cheap Jeep, and I was so excited. When I ordered mine, right, my little Willys two-door, I was unbelievably excited, and the engagement was off the charts. It was huge. And then I'd start talking to the dealership manager, one of the largest Jeep dealers in our area, and I said, this is great, you know, all this engagement, these things supposed to be flying off the lots. He's like, I literally can't sell these base model Wranglers. Everybody says they want a base model Wrangler, and then they go to the dealership and all they care about is that Rubicon badge on the side. They don't care it's $65 or $70 or $75,000. They just want the name and the badge and what that entails. Kind of an interesting tidbit. Now, let's go ahead and come on over here. Interesting door handle. I really like how this is kind of flush mounted against the side. It's got an old school keyhole. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek inside. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. Very simple, basic cloth seats. Very simple, basic steering wheel. I see that this model does have cruise control. That's pretty much it though. And the center has nothing at all. Just a basic black panel. It does have AC, it does have heat controls, but look, no infotainment. There's your drive selector, that little toggle there. There's your turn signal stock, and that's the display for all of your important instrumentation. And then it's got roll down windows. How cool is this? It does still need some modern safety equipment, like it does have airbags, right? You can see that there in the center, airbag. It does have traction control, because you can see that disable light, and it does have power locks, but it also has manual roll-up windows, manual seats, manual window thing, or mirror control, and I think it might even have manual mirrors. I don't see a control for the mirrors, and then a phone mount. Now this, that is a stroke of absolute genius. I remember Volkswagen did this a while back with the Up. I think it was the Up in Europe, where they got rid of the infotainment screen, they put like a little docking station, and I don't know why that didn't catch on. Because fundamentally, most of you guys out there that I've experienced, you just get in, you plug your phone into CarPlay or Android Auto, and you listen to tunes off your phone. Why have CarPlay and Android Auto if your phone is CarPlay and Android Auto built into a little box already? Have a little charger, maybe have some speakers, that's all you need. I do think that's really smart. That's the smartest thing in the truck, right? And I also love that they have listened to people's feedback about the crazy buttons and knobs and controls and everything now. None of that. So I think that's really smart. Now, there's still a lot we don't know about this truck. And here's my big concern. The EV thing. Look, product cycles are long. I have no doubt that Slate's been working on this for years and years and years, even if we're just now kind of hearing about it as the public and as the media. But 10 years ago, there was an inherent excitement and curiosity about EVs. I think that the landscape has changed a lot. I really do. Not only politically, well, politically with the elimination of the tax credit, but also just the sentiment that I see from you guys out there. And I kind of worry that Slate has pigeonholed themselves into something a little limiting. I mean, the range, 150 miles. Range is like, I don't know, it's like people that buy work boots, and are like nerdy guys like me that never see dirt, right? Range, people buy range and charging for the road trips they never ever take. So I have no doubt that 150 miles is enough. My wife, our videographer Mary, they both have long commutes, 45 minutes an hour. They drive cars with under 150 miles of range. They never worry about charge. And they did when they first started driving their electric cars, and now they don't, right? You live with it if you have a place to charge it up at home. Even a 110 outlet with these small batteries, I think the small battery pack's like 57 kilowatt hours, you don't need to worry about range on a daily basis. But it's that perceptual thing. People buy range for the road trips they never take. And I can stand here and argue till the crows come home. Anybody can, but I'm not going to convince you. And I feel like at this point, if I was Slate, I'd be going to Toyota. I'd be going to GM. I'd be like, give me that Ecotec. Give me a little 2.5 liter 4-cylinder Toyota. We need to work together and make this thing gasoline powered. That's where I would be. And I like that it's electric. It opens up a lot of potentials. Vehicle to load, packaging potentials. Acceleration is going to be pretty good for the size of the truck. But at the same time, I know where the winds are shifting. And I really think that at least a range extender, like what Scout is doing, is essential in some ways. So I'm really worried about that. And like, imagine this, $25,000 truck with a 2.5 liter Toyota 4-cylinder and a 6-speed automatic. Hey, what's up? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very, very nice. Oh, I just got a goodie bag. But that's not going to change my sentiment. This thing needs a basic gas engine, I think. I really strongly believe that. And it also needs all-wheel drive. 4-wheel drive, once again, people are never going to the Rubicon Trail, but people think that they need 4-wheel drive. I just did a story about this on TFL Off-Road, and you guys brought up a lot of great points. The boat ramp, right? You need 4-wheel drive. Any kind of snow. People are sick of using sandbags, so I'm worried about that as well with the Slate, having just 2-wheel drive. So, what do we think? Is the Slate going to sell? Or is this a social experiment of a vehicle that everybody says they want, $20,000 truck, but doesn't sell? And then we come to the price, right? Starting when they launched, under $20K. That was factored in the $7,500 tax credit. That's no more. So now we're looking at mid to high 20s. Still affordable, but I was just at the LA Auto Show here and checking a base Maverick for $28,245. That's got a hybrid system that'll take you anywhere, right? That's got 4 doors. That's got fundamentally a brand that people know and trust, so I'm a little worried about that as well. Now, this may sound pessimistic. I'm inherently so pumped, and I want this to work, because this is what you guys want, but is it what you're gonna buy? That's my fundamental question here in this video. So, big thank you to Slate for letting me come to this party. I really want to drive one Slate. I really want to give it a fair chance. I really want to put it on the Ike Gauntlet with Andre. I really want to do range tests. I want to figure out what it's all about. But drop me a comment below what you guys think. As always, it's been Tommy. I'm going to go get dry. This has been pretty nuts. We'll see you next time.